The Saskatchewan Ministry of Environment's online service is available to all individuals 24/7 to create a more efficient way of conducting business online. For this video, we will be discussing how to apply to be a ministry designated qualified person and how to properly fill out your qualified person application. To begin, we're going to go ahead and navigate our way to the online services login page. If you forgot how to do so, you simply have to do a quick Google search on Government of Saskatchewan online service. Once there, you need to select the link that says Online Services-Environment-Government of Saskatchewan. From here, if we select the banner at the top that says Saskatchewan Ministry of Environment Online Services, we will be redirected to the login page for online services. So once we're here, we'll go ahead and log on to our individual account. For this video guide, I will be assuming that you have already registered an online account. If you have not, please refer to our previous video called Organization and Individual Registration. To continue, I'm going to go ahead and press Sign In. And I am prompted to select my user profile. To complete this qualified person application, I need to make sure that I have selected myself as an individual. If you are not seeing this screen, it means that you only have one role currently, and that is of an individual. Since I have more than one role to select from, I am prompted to select my user profile at the start. However, if you went straight to the dashboard, you'll notice that you have a little name over here that should say individual. For now, I'm going to go ahead and select individual and press select identity. If you were not shown the select user page, you were probably redirected directly to this page, and that is your dashboard. And as I had mentioned before, you should have seen individual in text right over here. To begin our application as a qualified person, we're going to go ahead and press new submission. From this list, if we look at the third last option, it'll say qualified person, and that option will give us an application to be designated as a qualified person. So we'll go ahead and select that application. This will take us to the actual application process. The first few pages will be giving us some general information about the application itself, and then after we've gone through all the general information and reviewed our account information, we will begin the actual application. On this page, it is simply telling you that avoid using the back and forward buttons on the browser for navigation, as it may cause an error in the system, ruining your application. Knowing that, we'll go ahead and press next. In the next page, it'll tell us that you will be prompted to review applicant information. This is the information you provided the ministry when registering your own account. Knowing that, we'll go ahead and press next once more. On this page, it will ask you to confirm applicant. This means it's asking you to confirm which role you are applying as. Remember, to properly finish this application, you need to be selected as individual myself. If this says anything else currently, please go ahead and press Manage Business Profile and select Individual as your identity and navigate back to this application. Knowing that we are an individual, we are going to go ahead and press Next. Over here, we'll be reviewing our account information that we provided the ministry when we first registered our account. I'm going to affirm that all this information is correct and press Next. So now that we have gone through the general reviewing and information pages, we will begin the actual application. Here you will select which designation as a qualified person you're applying for and which chapter. So for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to be saying I am applying for designation as a qualified person as required by the Hydrostatic Testing Chapter. And I'm going to say I'm applying for the purpose of certifying an environmental protection plan. As an individual, you may be applying for other chapters, and that's fine. The only difference would be the radio buttons you select on this page. However, the rest of the application is exactly the same regardless of what chapter you choose. So once I have selected what I need to, I'm going to go ahead and press next. On this page, I'll be prompted to provide any academic detail that would help my application. Now, if you have a CV, resume, or diploma, certificate, and degree that you are going to be providing as a general document later on, you can do that as well without having to fill in this field. However, if you want to fill in this field, you can go ahead and press Add New Academic Detail, and we can simply fill in the fields as they pop up. So name of academic institute, I will say University of Regina. And I'll say I attended the University of Regina from the 4th of September 2000 to the 4th of September 2004. And over the course of my education, I had obtained a degree. And I'll go ahead and I'll press Done. As you can see, all the fields populate here with all the information I had provided in the pop-up. If I want to edit this information, I can go ahead and do that, or I can delete it. If you want to add more education, you can go ahead by pressing Add New Academic Detail, and it'll populate a second row as it has for this one. So once we've done that, I'm going to go ahead and press Next. On this page, you'll be asked to submit any work experience that may help your application as well. If your work experience is explained in your CV, resume, or another Word document as to why it pertains to this designation as a qualified person, you can attach it later on in this application as mentioned before. However, if you would like to attach work experience now, you can go ahead and press the Add New Work Experience button. For the purposes of demonstration, I'm going to call my workplace test. In this activity section, you'll notice that it says, please specify for which purpose this activity applies. So if you'll remember, I said I wanted the designation for the purpose of certifying an environmental protection plan. So in this field, I'll write down to certify an environmental protection plan. Next, we need to fill out the days we've worked there. So I'll say I've worked there from the 4th of September 2004 to the 4th of September 2008. Once I've indicated how long I have worked there and for what purpose this work experience relates to, I need to state how it relates to that as well. So for this, I'll simply write, I have done hydrostatic testing for the past 4 years of employment at locations X, Y, and Z. So once I've done that, I'll go ahead and press Done. And as with the previous academic qualification field, we'll get the same thing happening where it populates a row with all the information we had filled in. If we want to edit any of this information at any time, we can press Edit, or we can go ahead and delete it as well. Once again, if we want to add more work experience, we can go ahead and press Add New Work Experience. So I'll go ahead and press Next. This page will let the reviewers know if you have any professional membership that may help you towards getting your designation as a qualified person. I do not have any, so I won't be filling this in. But if you would like to, you can go ahead and press Add New Membership, and all you would have to do is provide your organization name and then let us know if it's a membership or a license approval. Once again, if you wouldn't like to add it here, you can always attach it as a general document later on in this application. So once we've done that, we'll go ahead and press Next. This page is asking us to give the ministry references. Now, if I try to press Next right now, it'll give us an error. It'll tell us that we must provide at least 2 references to complete this application. So I'll go ahead and press Add New Reference, and I'll fill that field in. As you can see, email does not have a red asterisk beside it, so it may not look like a required field. However, if I go to submit this reference right now, it'll give me an error saying an email is a required field. So we'll go ahead and fill in the email as well. I'll go ahead and press done for this reference. And remember, this page requires us to add 2 references, so I'll go ahead and add another one as well. Once again, an email is a required field, despite it not having the red asterisk beside it. So I'll go ahead and press done for this reference as well. And once I have had 2 references, I can go ahead and press next. However, if you would like to add more references, you can feel free to do that by pressing the Add New Reference button. If you have multiple references that you would like the ministry to be aware of, you can also attach it as a general document later on in this application. For now, we'll go ahead and press next. If you have any additional notes or information that you believe may aid your application to become a designated qualified person, you can go ahead and enter them in over here. For now, I'll go ahead and press next. On this page, we'll be able to attach any of those documents that we wanted to. So earlier, if you had not entered in your academic qualifications, your work experience, membership, you can do that all right now by browsing your documents for a file, adding it, and submitting it. So for now, I'll say this picture is going to be my CV, and I'll say it's Arslan Khan CV. And then in the drop down here, we'll see that CV/resume is an option. So I'll go ahead and select that and press submit file. As you can see, it'll give you the file name and the description provided. You can delete any entries or any files that you have submitted by pressing this trash can icon. You can also submit as many files as you would like for your application. For now, we'll go ahead and press next. And we'll be taken to the pre-submit conditions. Before you can finish your application to be designated as a qualified person, you need to read and understand all these 6 conditions provided. You'll notice that there's an asterisk here that says if you are unable to sign declaration number 1, please go back to attached general document section and attach an explanation as to why you are unable to sign declaration number 1, marked confidential. So what this means is if you have been disciplined or had a license restriction in the past by a professional licensing body or association, then you need to go back to the previous section by hitting the previous button and attaching a file named confidential and have the description as confidential and uploading it so you can explain to the ministry why you cannot accept this and why it's alright for you to submit your application despite that. So once I've read and understand all these conditions, I'm going to go ahead and press I accept these conditions and hit submit. This will take us to a page that says application submitted and says, we have received your application. Please refer to the transaction number displayed above when inquiring about your application. If you have any additional questions or require additional information, please contact the ministry at your convenience. So the transaction number they're talking about is located right over here, but you don't have to commit that to memory or write that down right now. Simply because if we navigate our way to our dashboard from this menu up here, we'll be able to see the submission we just made for our application to be designated as a qualified person. And under the number section, we'll see that we have a number 100-18884, which is the exact same as our transaction number provided in the previous page. So if you ever need to contact the ministry about your application, please refer to your dashboard to get this number. A few other things that we'll notice is that the status of this application is submitted. If you want to see how your application is doing on a day-to-day basis, you can log in and the status will be updated every time it's pushed to the next stage. Another thing to note is that this date submitted is a clickable icon. So if we click on it, it will take us to a printable version of our application. It'll hold all the information that we had provided in our application, such as our academic qualifications, our work experiences, memberships, references, and any files that we may have attached as well. This is for your own record to keep so that you can refer back to it to see what your application looked like when you submitted it. This is the end of the guide on how to submit your application. Now there are 3 different paths that your application can take. It can be accepted, it can be imposed terms and conditions, or it can be rejected. We will be covering that in a separate video. And for now, that will be all for this video. If you have any questions about the QP application, please go ahead and contact SAS Code Secretariat at gov.sk.ca or call the RBR and Code Management Branch at 306-787-9197. Thank you.